What's going on, everybody? So, as you can see, Smackdown shirt, the belt. You know what that means. That means we got a Friday Night Smackdown. And this one features CM Punk. And no, we not mean like in the video package form where we playing Survivor Series. And that following Monday, we actually got live and in living color CM Punk. So they did do, this is the Tribute to the Troops special edition. So of course they had the opening ceremony be two Academy Award winner singers singing I forgot what the song was because I was in the middle of other stuff, but it was a national anthem. Put it that way. But afterwards, then they get straight into the first match of the night, which is the first round of this United States tournament, which featured, if I'm correct, the first match was Santos Escobar versus Dragon Lee. And this had an appearance by Dominic Mysterio, who I forgot deadline is when you will see this video is today. Deadline is Saturday, so I forgot all about that. I forgot about that deadline was Saturday, but he was there to scout Dragon Lee. But this was a fun, good match between Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee, two luchadors doing their thing. But I knew Santos was going over because Dragon Lee might go over Dominic Mysterio. Controversial pick. But I got Dominic Mysterio losing at deadline to Dragon Lee. Though it's more likely that Dominic is going to win. But I feel like Dominic I don't know. We'll see. But in other words, this was a good match with Dominic Mysterio. He wasn't on commentary, but speaking of commentary, JBL was replacing Corey Graves. I think the reason why they replaced Corey Graves with JBL is because they said that JBL, I didn't know this, he was one of the reasons why they do the Tribute to the Troops. Like, he helped basically create the Tribute to the Troops show. So I think that's why they replaced him with Corey Graves to honor him as one of the co-founders and co-creators of Tribute to the Troops. But yeah, Santos Escobar will win to advance to face the winner between the later on match of Bobby Lashley and Karrion Kross. More on that later. Randy Orton appeared backstage and Nick Aldis room to pay his fine and to ask him why he was put in a tag team match with LA Knight. And Nick, informed him that it was basically because of what happened last week, where LA Knight came out for the save. But he said, I didn't need LA Knight to save me. But nonetheless, Nick Aldis told him that the fans want to see it and he wants to see it, so he can't wait to see it happen later on the night. And then he noticed that Randy's fine, because Randy was only fined $50,000 for RKOing him, but he noticed it was, instead of $50,000, it was $100,000, to which Randy Orton tells him, oh, the extra $50,000 is for the next time. But then we go straight to another promo, which is Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes came out to basically to do just that, tribute to the troops. He didn't really say much, like cutting the promo wise on somebody else. Just more so, he was just, like I said, he was honoring the troops that was there, and showing his appreciation for the legacy of the tribute to the troops. I'm trying to remember, did he say anything else? No, that was it. No, just the typical John Cena. He showed video packages of the legacy of the tribute to the troops. But other than that, yeah, that was it. Then we got the second match of the night, which is oddly the second match of the first round that they had going on tonight, which is Bobby Lashley versus Karrion Kross. This was good to see Karrion Kross, though I would have liked if he would have continued his winning way. He would get back to being a dominant heel that made him popular. That's like my only gripe with Triple H is that he's like, I feel like he's dropping the ball on Karrion Kross. Like, Karrion Kross is a monster heel. Like, he can be a good heel champion. And it was on track, and it's kind of like, I know Triple H could pull him out of there, and I know that we got to reestablish him because he's been off TV for a while. But I think he should have won over. This is my opinion. I don't think Bobby Lashley should have won tonight. I think Karrion Kross should have won over Bobby Lashley, because I think if you would have had Karrion Kross go over Bobby Lashley, this was the best way to reestablish him as that monster heel after some lackluster feuds. Like, even his feud with AJ Styles was kind of lackluster. So I feel like this was a good starting point, but once again, the ball was dropped on Karrion Kross. I don't know if he got some heat backstage or not, but I feel like they're not trying to push him as that heel that he was pushed when he was in NXT. But yeah, Bobby, they had a good match. He did look strong, but Bobby Lashley just won in the end. I just feel like the Raw man won. So other than that, the match was good though. Then we got to CM Punk. CM Punk came out. This time he was at the top of the hour. He kicked off the 9 o'clock hour. So he came out and basically talked about the fact that he had a decision to make, and that this was his first stop into making the decision on where he's going to land. He even mentioned that he might even go to NXT, because he said he got a video call with Shawn Michaels to talk about possibly going to NXT. We know he's not going to NXT, but still, the fact that they mentioned that as a possibility is good storytelling. But yeah, he basically talked about the fact that everybody, including his good friend Cody Rhodes, all welcome him with open arms, and then he mentioned that there's a few guys who don't, and the few guys that don't like happy-go-lucky Phil Brooks. He even made like a jab towards his incidents in AEW with the backstage fights when it came to Kevin Owens. He was talking about like the pros and cons of being on each show, and when he talked about like possibly teaming up with Kevin Owens or fighting Kevin Owens, he said them two are alike, and I don't know, he wanted to be going up against somebody who likes to randomly hit people backstage, and then he used that to point the innuendo at himself, the big elephant in the room about the reason why he's in WWE so early after just being in AEW earlier this year. But he pointed out that he did talk about Roman Reigns and mentioned that how Roman Reigns, he congratulated Roman Reigns on his historic championship reign, but not to forget that Paul Heyman was originally the wise man too, and that he was the original Paul Heyman guy, and he mentioned like if he was on SmackDown, he would have to rumble with Jimmy, who he's familiar with, but not Solo. With Solo, he said he never met the guy, so he's not familiar with Solo. But then he said if I were to stay on SmackDown and get into it with the Bloodline, there's so many other Samoan that they were deep. So he said he had to team with. He said what do I team with, like Randy Orton, and then he mentioned LA Knight. But he finally got to mention what the crowd wanted him to mention too, but he didn't mention him by name. But he insinuated he said, well, there's one guy, and he said I'm not even going to waste time and put stock into what he says, because he's not even the man of his own household, and we all know when he said man, we all knew what he meant by that, because the man he was referring to was Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. So he mentioned Seth Rollins and that. And then it said he had a whiny voice. And then when the crowd started singing Seth Rollins' song, he did get Seth Rollins that much. He said that's the only good thing he got going for him, is that his song, and that people like to sing his song. But he said he was back to be the monkey wrench of everybody's future plans, and that no matter how he gets there, his plan is to main event WrestleMania. Whether it be Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns is yet to be seen, but that's where he wants to go. That was pretty much it for his promo. Then we had like a little backstage promo with Asuka and Damage Control. Well, I should say Bayley and Damage Control, because it seemed like there's more dissension within Damage Control. Though this time Bayley volunteered to stay behind instead of them telling her to, and that but then she suggested that they all should stay behind and let Asuka go out there on her own. But they decided that Bayley was right, that she should stay behind, but that they was gonna go out to ringside with Asuka. But that wouldn't happen, because as soon as they did come out with Asuka to ringside, they would get attacked by the returning Michin and Zelina Vega, and then also get met by Bianca Belair and Sansi, and basically got beaten except for Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai didn't, of course, because she's still injured, but they did beat up Io Sky and Kairi Sane. Now with all that out the way, we finally got to the match, and this was a good match. This was a good match between the two, because they were so familiar with each other, so familiar. There was a little scary moment though for Charlotte Flair, though. She did like her signature moonsault from the ring to the outside on Asuka, but she kind of missed, and you could clearly see it looked like she cracked the back of her head on the worst part of the announcer table, which was that end, and I was just like, oh god. But then it went to commercial break, and it was weird because it was like she had a head injury, but then she played up like she had a leg injury. I'm like, yeah, she kind of loopy. But she wasn't loopy. She was still able to help put on a good match. But she was loopy. You could tell she was kind of out of it. So you could tell, like, at least for the most part, she really was injured, and that she wasn't like out of it to where, like, I don't know, like Nikki Bella when she got Liv Morgan when she got KO'd by Brie Bella, I meant to say, or somebody who got knocked out. She was loopy or disoriented, but she wasn't like that much where they had to call the match or call an audible. She finished the match strong, and Asuka ended up getting the victory thanks to Bayley's help. This time, unlike last week where Bayley tried to help and it didn't work out for Kairi, it actually worked out for Asuka. So maybe just put Bayley back in their good graces. But yeah, it was a good match overall, save for the little scary little bump for Charlotte, and you could clearly tell she was out of it. But otherwise, that was a good match. And then we got to the main event, which is I was about to say I had the R and I was gonna say Roman, but Randy Orton and actually before I get to that, CM Punk had one more thing almost slipped my mind. There was a backstage segment with CM Punk where he was talking to Nick. Nick gave him what appears to be the Smackdown contract for him to look over, and that he had to go, but Nick had to leave to go tend to some other business. and that's when he got approached by Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes would say, that's why I couldn't remember, because I forgot that Cody Rhodes did actually cut a promo or confront someone, but it wasn't in his promo when he came out in the ring. It was backstage before the main event, where he basically confront CM Punk about what he said, and he heard what he said about finishing stories. I forgot to mention that part of CM Punk's promo. He said something about everybody talking about finishing their story, and that's when he said he's going to fit. But he came back to finish what he started, and that's when he said about being the monkey wrench in everybody's future. So this is what became that, and Cody Rhodes confronted him about it, and then he just stuck his hand out and said, "Welcome back, old friend." And he said, CM Punk just thanked him for being back, but you could tell Cody Rhodes didn't like what CM Punk insinuated, and you can see CM Punk was kind of like, even though he said "Welcome back, old friend," you could tell that CM Punk was like, "Yeah, you say it like that, but I don't think you mean it." But then we get to the main event, which is Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso versus Randy Orton and LA Knight. And besides the will they, won't they coexist, LA Knight and Randy Orton made a good team. They really did. And did anybody notice that now Solo is basically wearing boots now? I wonder if that had to do with why he was out for so long, like why it took a minute for him to come back. Maybe he got some type of injury where he had to wear boots for a while. I don't know. But it was weird. They did the Rusev to him. But other than that little slight costume change, this was a good tag team match between the four guys. Not without Roman being there. Speaking of which, he will be there next week though. Roman will return next Friday. So it's interesting to see what he got to say about CM Punk. But yeah, he by that time we'll know what brand CM Punk would be on. But yeah, this was a good match between the two. No Paul Heyman too. I forgot about to say that. But yeah, this was a good match. Good spots. It was the big story within the match was just that LA Knight and Randy Orton tagging themselves in without actually being, with the other person actually calling for the tag. And I think that happened with Jimmy and Solo one time in the match, but it was off screen. You didn't see it. It was in between the commercial breaks. But you was told that happened by Michael Cole that during that commercial break, Jimmy and Solo had their own little miscues on tags. But besides the bickering, LA Knight and them came together to get the victory. Even though kind of Randy Orton kind of stole it, I think LA Knight was going for the BFT, but Randy Orton just took it out of his hand and did the RKO on Jimmy and got the pin. Notice that Jimmy took the pin, not Solo. So it's still trying to keep Solo's little push going. But yeah, this was a fun little match. I don't know if I would give it the match of the night. I don't think any match kind of got the match of the night kind of feel. This was an average good show. God, I don't know. When I think about it, I didn't really. Besides the CM Punk promo was the best thing of the whole night. That was the best thing. It was better than some of the matches, but that was just because that's the only thing I could feel like I got excited for. Everything else was kind of cool. I did like the tournament. The tournament matches was cool, but it was it was good, but it wasn't anything standout-ish. I didn't like the fact that Bobby Lashley went over Karrion Kross. Even though their match was good, I still think Karrion Kross should have went over Bobby Lashley. But I don't know. I want to say this was a 7, but I'm not. I can't. This was another 6 out of 10 big ups for the SmackDown brand. Even with CM Punk's promo, it didn't feel like a 7. It definitely wasn't an 8 or a 9. So, yeah, this was a above average. So, if I would say this, if it wasn't for the CM Punk promo, this would have been a 5. I would have gave it a 5. I would have gave it a below average. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and if you enjoyed my reaction, you know what to do. You hit this right here for all of my season. I almost messed myself up. I said reactions. If you hit this button right here for all of my WWE reviews, and if you enjoy my review videos so much you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit all those buttons: the like, the subscribe, the share, the notification button. Do all those great things because it helps the channel grow. Because doing so already has proven fruit, or bear fruit, as we have gained some subscribers. But I need you to keep going. I need you to help me out. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. Don't go anywhere because I got more reactions coming your way. And I know, and eventually I promise, gameplays. So, peace.